Now, live from Whitney Media, 1460 WVOX, the Greenburgh Report, with Greenburgh Town Supervisor Paul Feiner. You can join in the conversation at 914-636-0110. Now on 1460 WVOX, here's Greenburgh Town Supervisor Paul Feiner.
Good morning, Westchester. I'm Paul Feiner. I'm the Greenburgh Town Supervisor. This spring, the Greenburgh Nature Center hired a new executive director, Alix Dunn. Alix originally lived in Westchester County, but she spent over 2 decades in California working to protect and enhance our natural environment. And she spent many years as the president and CEO of Santa Monica's based Hail the Bay, which is a not-for-profit dedicated to protecting the Santa Monica Bay. So, Alix, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Could you maybe start by just telling us a little bit about yourself and what's different about the Nature Center compared to California environmental initiatives?
Sure. Well, as you said, I grew up here in Westchester, but I did spend most of my time in California working on environmental issues, specifically around water quality. Santa Monica specifically and LA County has a pretty big issue with water quality and all of the rain going into the ocean, which is really LA's playground. So I have been passionate about the environment for many years, and my passion now is about teaching the next generation how to be protective of the environment and how to understand why certain legislation was passed and why we need to be protective of that legislation, both federal as well as locally. So for me, coming back home and being able to use my knowledge and all of my experience here locally has just been a dream. And so I'm very excited to be back. And the Nature Center is in the perfect place to be that community asset.
The Greenburgh Nature Center is located on Central Avenue. And if you go to the Nature Center, you feel you're in heaven. It's really an amazing place. Could you tell us a little bit about why people who have not gone to the Nature Center may really enjoy it?
Well, you're right. As you drive up Dromore Avenue and actually watch the Nature Center unfold in front of you, it really is quite amazing. You leave behind all of the noise and hustle and bustle as you look onto our 33 acres. And we have quite a lot in our landscape and quite a lot of highlights. Just to name a few, we have a native meadow where you can go and be peaceful and sit among the native plants and watch the butterflies and bees. Also, we have a beautiful lawn and a stage area, a playground for kids. And we also have 100 animals that are in our care that help us educate about how important different ecosystems and habitats are. But the Nature Center really has something for everyone. We have a lot of demonstration programs where you can learn about organic gardening or look at some of our native plant gardens and our pollinator gardens and get ideas for your own landscape and your own property. And then we run educational programs to inspire children to choose the environment as a career or to choose to protect, because we really share this whole planet, and all we can do individually really makes a difference.
And you have a butterfly exhibit also. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
In the summertime, we do. We have a butterfly arbor where you can come see native butterflies. And after the exhibit, after you enjoy and walk through the area where the butterflies are, we release them into our native meadow. So it is a wonderful experience. And look at our website, greenburghnaturecenter.org, to find out about all of our programs. Our winter programs, summer programs, they're all listed on our website. But yeah, I look forward to the butterfly exhibit coming this summer.
When I was last at the Nature Center, I enjoyed the pollinator garden. That's relatively new, isn't that?
It is, and that was with a partnership with the Irvington Garden Club, where a pollinator garden was created in memory of one of their members. And it's a beautiful garden and demonstration of how you can have a garden on your property that enhances not only the look of your property, but also helps our local ecosystem. We need bees and butterflies to pollinate. And so this garden shows you how you can do it in a really beautiful way.
So what's the key aspects of a pollinator garden? Why is it important?
It's important because it provides plants that pollinators can use to eat as well as to lay their eggs, as well as for the different stages of butterflies, for example, can survive in the garden. So it's not just a monoculture, it's a variety of plants and then the pollinators, the bees, the butterflies, use the garden. And what's really neat about this particular one is as you walk through the garden, there are signs to point out, to show you the different plants. So you can start to educate yourself on, like if you see something you really like, there's a little educational sign about it that you can learn more.
It is a pollinator, garden something that are the plants as pretty as a regular garden?
Yes, absolutely. And the way it's planted, they bloom at different times during the season.
Oh, great.
So it's visually interesting.
We have to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with Alix Dunn, who's Executive Director of the Greenburgh Nature Center, and their website is
greenburghnaturecenter.org.
And the center is located on Drumore Road in the Edgemont section of Greenburgh.
1460 WVOX.
Now back to the Greenburgh Report on 1460 WVOX. Once again, here's Greenburgh Town Supervisor Paul Feiner.
Good morning. I'm Paul Feiner, and my guest is Alix Dunn, who's the new Executive Director of the Greenburgh Nature Center. I've attended some programs since she took office, and I was really impressed with the quality of the programs and how organized you are. I just wanted to ask if somebody has a small child, do you have programs during the winter breaks?
Yes, we do. We have a winter camp that is February 21st through the 25th. It's for K through 3rd grade, and it's 9:30 to 1:30. And at this winter camp, we'll talk about winter birds, as well as programs like All About Owls. So it's a really wonderful camp for young ones. But also this winter, we have a lot for the whole family. We have urban agricultural and organic gardening classes. We have maple sugaring that'll happen, in a couple of months when the time is right. Also, there's programs like hibernation versus migration and what winter animals and wildlife do. And we have our traditional programs that happen all the time, like our barnyard opening and closing, where you and your family can join for that activity, which we do every day. Also, we can take our goats out for a walk, and so that's also a fun family activity. And then thinking forward to the summer, we have things like summer hikes, and we're also going to be trying some movie nights at the Nature Center.
Oh, that's great. Now, you had a little scare during Thanksgiving. There was a breakout.
Yes. Yes. Unfortunately, one of our exhibits was tampered with, and someone got into an enclosure that one of our very beloved birds, Zhao Zhao, which is a white-necked raven, was able to escape. Thankfully, whoever did this did not get access to the bird because we did find her. I just, going through something like that was very, very difficult. It was hard on myself and the team as well as the animal. And we have increased security because of that. But I just want to mention that the animals that we have at the Greenburgh Nature Center are rescue and rehabilitated animals. Zhao Zhao in specific can't fly. So she needs our care. She needs us to help her survive. So when an act like this is done, it's really scary, and it's scary for the animal. So thankfully, we did find her. We are working right now on a fundraising campaign to better her enclosure and give her access to get away if anyone did get in. And also, we're fundraising for a higher security system throughout the park. And that's really to protect all of our animals as well as any park visitors.
You mean more like cameras, security cameras?
Yes.
That is, I think, that's great. Would people be surprised to see, how emotional that experience was? Do you sort of get attached to the animals at the nature center?
Yes, our team has been caring for some of these animals for over a decade. So her specifically, she was found in Rockland County. She was in very bad shape when we got her over 10 years ago, and we nursed her back to health, and she is happily living with us, but she needs us. and we know what she needs to survive. And she really can't survive outside of our care. And that's true of all of our animals. So we have over 100 of them, and we care for them daily to ensure that they have what they need. And this is also a program that we are teaching the next generation. So we have volunteer programs to help with our animals. We have internship programs that help with our animals. So you learn things like animal husbandry. You also learn how to talk about the different animals we have with the public. So this builds confidence, this builds knowledge, and hopefully sparks an interest.
And I remember when my daughter was very small, she would love the nature center because she was able to hold the turtles. So little kids have an opportunity to pet the snakes and hold some of the animals themselves.
Absolutely. So with our naturalists and usually one or two volunteers, we do have the opportunity for the public to get up close to our animals, learn about them, and learn how to handle them properly. So that is a really wonderful aspect of the Nature Center that you can participate in that. Our animals are mostly in the Manor House, and the Manor House does have an admissions fee of $7 for adults and $7 for children. Seniors is $6. But you can come into our Manor House. If you're a member, you get in for free. So we do have membership.
How much is a membership?
$85 for an individual and $100 for a family. But this gives you unlimited access to the Nature Center Manor House, so you can come many times, and you can see how the Manor House evolves over the seasons. So right now, in celebration of winter solstice, we have our Manor House beautifully decorated with natural items that the Irvington Garden Club assisted with and really led. So our beautiful mantles are all decorated with berries and holly and different aspects of what's beautiful out in nature this time of year.
That is, great. If somebody wants to volunteer or be an intern, how do they go about that?
We have a volunteer orientation every month. It's the last Tuesday of the month. Our next one is January 25th. It's from 6 to 7 p.m. And our volunteer coordinator will go through all of the different volunteer opportunities we have, including a docent program where we'll teach volunteers how to interact with the public in different aspects of our park. So if you're at the vernal pool or if you're at the Indigenous Peoples replica village, you'll learn about the program and then be able to interact with the public. And of course, we have our animal museum volunteers who help us with the daily tasks of caring for the animals, but then also teach the public about the different animals we have and how to handle them properly. So there are a variety of volunteer opportunities. And so the way to get the message out about what we have, we host these volunteer orientations.
Are most of the volunteer students or all people from all
We do have a lot of students, but we're looking to grow our volunteer program to have all ages.
And what's like the minimum time commitment that is required?
Minimum time commitment based on what project you're working on can be as much as a 1 day a month to coming to us weekly. And we have a lot of volunteers who do visit us weekly.
For a couple hours?
Yes.
That is great. And how many staff people do you have?
Right now we have 15. We are growing to 18 in 2022, so there will be employment opportunities at the Nature Center. I encourage you to check out our website at greenburghnaturecenter.org to look at our different employment opportunities.
That is great. You've also had a rain barrel sale, and can you tell us about that?
Yes, as part of our sustainability programs, we have rain barrel as well as compost bins for sale. And you can learn about those programs and how to have a lesser of an impact on the environment back at home.
That is great. And one of the things that people like to do is have birthday parties at the Nature Center.
Yes, we are famous for our wonderful, memorable birthday parties. So that will continue for us. And you can pick one of our Back to Nature programs to go alongside your birthday party to make it really special.
That's great. We're going to be right back with Alix Dunn, Executive Director of the Greenburgh Nature Center, in a couple minutes. I'm Paul Feiner.
Now back to the Greenburgh Report on 1460 WVOX. Once again, here's Greenburgh Town Supervisor Paul Feiner.
Good morning. I'm Paul Feiner, Greenburgh Town Supervisor, and we have a really interesting program. Alix Dunn is Executive Director of the Greenburgh Nature Center, and she just started a job in the spring. And maybe before we go into some of the initiatives of the Nature Center, are there any surprises since you came here, since you've had experiences working in California?
I wouldn't say surprises. I also worked with a partnership in California similar to the partnership that we have with the town of Greenburgh. So just to give a little bit of background, we are the operating nonprofit for the park. The park is a town of Greenburgh park. With that relationship, the town supports us about 25% of our budget. But we are a typical nonprofit, so we are fundraising the remaining 75% of our budget. And we do that through a fairly typical nonprofit fundraising model. We have memberships, we have major donors, we apply for grants, foundations, as well as government. And some exciting things that we're looking to do is, because we have these 33 acres, and some of it is forest, some of it we have a vernal pool, we have 2 wetlands. We're really going to be looking at the property and figuring out how to get grants to do some restoration, remove the invasive plants that have moved in, and get our land and our preserve back to as natural as possible. So that's something exciting that I'm very interested in working with. As part of that, we're going to be looking to hire a groundskeeper to help us. We also have conservation interns that we'll start to use in the spring, through the summer, into the fall. This is a great opportunity for an individual. These are paid internships. And we had 3 interns last year. We're looking to grow that to more like 6 and for a longer period of time. And this is helpful because nature needs a lot of attention and the grounds need a lot of attention. So we are mapping all 33 acres and discussing the best way to enhance the different aspects of the park. And all of this will be able to be viewed by the public that comes to visit us.
That is really fantastic. It's so nice that you're so passionate about the center and really seem to love the job and love the Nature Center. Sometimes with not-for-profits or in government, people just don't seem to have the same caring attitude that you seem to have. In terms of the strategic plan for the Nature Center, that takes a long time to come up with a strategic plan.
One of the first things that I did when I arrived is worked with our board of directors to put a timeline in place to achieve a strategic plan within my first year. And we did that. We worked over the summer with stakeholders, with the town, as well as our staff and the board of directors to create a strategic plan so we could think clearly about what we want to accomplish in the next 3 years. In 4 years, we will be 50. So it's an exciting time at the Nature Center, and we wanted to work on the next 3 years in preparation for that anniversary in 2025. So the outcome and the highlights of that strategic plan is to look at our programs and broaden the audiences. We are very well known for our programs that are geared toward younger participants. We wanted to have what's called an educational continuum. So after a child participates in a program, if they're in 5th grade, what is the program that they can then participate in? What about 6th, 7th, 8th, high school, college? And so we are analyzing our programs this year and doing an investment in our programs in development to ensure that there is the next step for an individual to get involved in. We're also looking at all of our offerings and having adult programs. Some of the gardening classes I talked about. We have one of our board members writing a blog called Around the Grounds to inspire people to understand how important native plants are. We're hoping to do some additional classes with the Irvington Garden Club as well as our board member to highlight how important it is. And so all of this expansion was part of the foundation of the strategic plan. And we're very excited about it. Our mission stayed the same, which is to inspire passion, curiosity, respect, and we added one word, action for our natural world. And that's what we want to do with all of our programs, is to ensure there's an actionable piece. So when you come to learn about rain barrels, we will follow up with you to see if you've installed a rain barrel, if you're having any issues with it, and how can we help. If you want to install a new vegetable garden, an organic vegetable garden, how can we be the ones to help you do that? And so that's what we're looking to do.
Have you ever thought of a community garden?
Yes. So we have a demonstration garden, and we have been asked by a few folks about a community garden. And so we're open to that. It does take a lot of work to maintain it. So I am open to any kind of partnership like that.
What about for disabilities? Because I remember a number of years ago, the Nature Center was talking about having programs for people who are blind and...
We do. We actually have a program with the down in the Bronx. There's a school for the blind that we come with our animals down to the school, and we do regular programs there. We also had a really wonderful partnership this summer with the Jewish Community Center, where it was an adult program for learning how to have a job in environmental education. And so these adults, they were 18 to 25, came to us and learned how to care for animals with the hope that possibly they could learn about this as a job. And so we really, really enjoyed that partnership. We're constantly looking for ways to partner with the community. Recently, we had a train show at the Nature Center with the Yonkers Model Railroad Club. We have, like I said, a garden club that we work with regularly. And then we have some sponsors that have been really wonderful to us. Con Ed has supported our educational programs, and Mom's Organic has supported our events. And so we're looking for more opportunities like this.
That is great. And, when you were talking about trying to broaden the range of people who love the Nature Center to adults, I think that's so important, because when I was growing up, I noticed that everybody goes to the Nature Center when they're 5, when they're 6, because every child likes to pet the animal, the pets. But by time, and then they like the Halloween events that you've had. But by time they got older, the interest sort of, dropped. So I think now the Nature Center is really doing the right thing by trying to highlight the fact that the Nature Center is not only for little kids, but it's also for older people.
One event that I wanted to mention is our new event that we had last fall, which was called Run Wild. And what we did was we created an obstacle course through our forest. It was 1.25 miles, and it was for the whole family to run this course. And it really was a great way to see families enjoying nature and getting out and getting exercise. And just a funny, one of the fathers, after he ran it, he came up to me and said, "Wow, I thought that was going to be an obstacle course for my kid, but that was legit."
Oh, wow.
So, we are looking to do more Run Wild events, and we're also going to have it run for 2 weekends in the spring as well as the fall. And then we'd like some corporate teams to participate. So if any corporations are looking for team building, we can have the course on a Friday and a Monday in the spring and the fall for possibly corporations to come out, do some team building, and then enjoy a lunch on our beautiful lawn.
How many miles is the run?
It's 1.25 miles.
Right, but I guess it's tougher to run on a trail.
It is. It's tougher terrain, and then there's obstacles. So you have to go over walls, under walls, swing on a rope, climb a rope, walk on a log.
That sounds a lot of fun.
There's some pictures on our website if folks want to see it. It was really a great event. So we plan to do that again in 2022.
That is great. That could also be a good charity event for organizations. If somebody wanted to sort of, I know they could rent the building. Could they rent a trail?
Sure. Well, yes, we could do some sort of opportunity where they could run the course. Because we run at different intervals, we actually had a birthday party, rent one of the intervals, and then the whole birthday party ran it at that time, because we run them about every 15 minutes, so the groups can enjoy the obstacle course. And so, there's definitely opportunity there.
When my daughter was little, I suggested that they have a story walk. And has the Nature Center continued that? It was like they took books and they put like a page along the trail.
Yes, we do. We do. That if that was your recommendation, it was a brilliant one. We still do that in the spring and summer, and it's really enjoyed by a lot of folks.
Oh, that's great. So something I proposed years ago still is is happening. Could you tell us a little bit about the recycling initiatives and organic food
Yes.
efforts?
So there's a food scrap recycling program. We have the bins and the bags that you can get at the nature center, and then we highlight the different drop-off areas. There's an enormous amount of waste that happens in our country when it comes to food, and we can really use this waste if it's something that you didn't quite finish on your plate, or you open the refrigerator and it's just past its prime, and you really don't want to eat it. You can put it in these bins and bring it to the Anthony Veteran Park. There's a couple of different drop-offs in and around the area, so our website lists them all for you. And we use compost at the Nature Center as well. We do have a lot of animal waste, as well as what the team eats at lunch if we've got anything left over. So it's very, very easy to compost. We run programs to teach you how to do it. And once you see how to turn what would be trash into this magical soil that you can then use in your garden, if you just have a flower garden or you want to use it for your vegetable garden. Once people sort of get hooked on it, they really enjoy it. And it's really something wonderful the whole family can get involved in.
That is great. And your website again is?
GreenburghNatureCenter.org.
And the phone number in case people want to contact the Nature Center.
Sure, it's 914-723-3470.
We have to take another break. This is the last break of the program. And we'll be right back with Alix Dunn, who's Executive Director of the Greenburgh Nature Center. I'm Paul Feiner.
1460 WVOX.
Now back to the Greenburgh Report on 1460 WVOX. Once again, here's Greenburgh Town Supervisor Paul Feiner.
Hi, I'm Paul Feiner, Greenburgh Town Supervisor, and my guest is Alix Dunn, who's Executive Director of the Greenburgh Nature Center. She's new at this job, just started in the spring, and I attended some functions earlier this fall and really was impressed. The Halloween event, I went there and I thought it was nice that you did a better job than the botanical gardens. I was going to tell all my friends, you don't have to go to the Bronx. You could, because it was
Wow.
it was really amazing.
Thank you.
And I'm sort of wondering, when I think of the Nature Center, I feel this is like the best, one of the best assets we have in the town of Greenburgh. Are there a lot of other nature centers around the country?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of these wonderful places that people can get closer to nature and learn about. Right here in Westchester, we've got some great ones: T-Town, O'Hara Nature Center, Weinberg Nature Center, just some really wonderful fellow nature centers that people can get involved in and see what each nature center has that's a little bit different.
Yeah, the O'Hara Nature Center is located in Irvington, which is also part of the town. Do you have a partnership with them?
I don't yet. And that's really, I've been focusing a lot on our specific nature center, but I hope to. I think we're stronger when we stand together and have partnerships. A great idea might be some dual memberships or something like that. So I look forward to meeting more of my fellow nature center leaders. I have met with T-Town and really love what they're doing there, and their executive director, Kevin, is amazing. So, I look forward to getting out more. I've been very focused at the Nature Center with the events that we've been doing as our fall festival. You mentioned we've got our spring festival coming up in April.
What's that going to be?
So that'll be around Earth Day and celebrating, Earth and all we need to do to protect her and make sure that we're not doing more damage. And so we'll have lots of activities, games, educational opportunities. We will invite vendors to be part of it and have activities at their different booths. So it'll be another community event where people can participate.
Yeah, it's amazing when you think of global warming. Yesterday I was on the bicycle. Today I'll be on the bicycle. I was going to write a thank you letter to Donald Trump for messing up the environment, but I'm enjoying the nice weather, but it's really not that great for the environment. All this 60-degree weather in the winter.
And that's
and
right.
All these major climate changes.
We definitely have a changing environment, and so we have to be smart about how to live in a changing environment and what we need to do back at our homes and with any aspect of volunteering that we do or any groups that we're a part of to think about our impact and how to better that impact. So we want to be the resource for coming up with ideas along those lines with our sustainability programs, and to also provide solutions, because it's hard today and hearing a lot about doom and gloom and what's going to happen. And we have had these major flood events, and it's been hard on people. These just natural events that have been difficult. We want to be the resource for providing opportunities and solutions, and how to really deal with and adapt to our changing environment.
And it's one step at a time. Even at the local level, we could be promoting recycling. We could be doing the food scrap, recycling, all these little things.
Growing your own vegetables. I mean, the carbon footprint of having a tomato show up at your local supermarket versus getting a plant and cultivating, and taking care of it yourself, and seeing that. I do have to say there's nothing better than biting into a tomato that you just pulled out of your garden that's still warm from the sunshine.
That's right. You sort of feel ownership in it.
Absolutely. So the rain barrels that you brought up, this is a great way to capture the water on your property as we deal with flooding and more of these storms that just dump an enormous amount of rain. If we have our homes set up where we have rain gardens that capture water, or rain barrels that we can capture the water in the spring and then use it throughout the summer when it's drier, these are all little things that as individuals we can really make a difference.
It's like saving Earth, one person at a time.
I truly believe in that, and that's because I've had some wonderful mentors in my career, and I hope to be that mentor for more individuals, because I have seen people, just one person, fighting for environmental protection, and that one person makes a sweeping change by having others follow and being the person to teach. And so that's why I love the Nature Center, because we are in the perfect place to be able to spread the knowledge. Our staff is amazing. They are a very educated team. They're excellent educators themselves. And we are trying to inspire that the generations coming up are very knowledgeable about the environment, and I think they are very curious. So we tap into that and hope to be that place that inspires more environmental change.
That is so great. And again, the Nature Center, it could almost be the destination point for people who want to talk about and promote action steps that could lead to a much better environment.
Absolutely. Or frankly, if you just need a break from it all, if you just want to come to the Nature Center and walk our trails, they're all family friendly. If you want to sit next to our vernal pool and listen to the frogs and look at turtles, it's so peaceful. Or sit in our butterfly arbor that is just an arbor in the meadow when the butterflies are not inside, but it's so beautiful and peaceful. We've got outdoor rock areas. We've got an oak circle that you can sit among. So, if you want to learn, we have those opportunities. And if you just want some peace and quiet, we also have those opportunities.
Right. So if you're stuck in traffic on Central Avenue,
come on, turn up Dromore Road and come visit us.
Now, the developer is going to be building affordable housing near the Nature Center on Dromore Road. Are you going to be having a partnership with the developer? Do you feel that affordable housing, originally there was a lot of concerns that it could have an impact on the Nature Center and the animals and all that. So are you nervous about that? And, at the same time, it's a done deal. So what could we do?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for inviting me to the working group that when the developer was presenting the plans. I really appreciated that, so I can hear what's happening. From that meeting, I have met with the developer, and so the communication lines are open, and I really feel that they're being upfront. Nothing is happening right now, but I'm very nervous about the construction period. Dromore Road is a very narrow road, and a cement truck and a school bus just don't mix. So we're going to have to figure out how to deal with that. The developer has given me every indication that they will work with us. And so, it's something that we're going to have to deal with as a neighbor. But hopefully we can figure out great ways to partner and have the new neighbors that are going to move in actually help us protect the nature center.
Right. So sometimes something that you get nervous about could turn out to be a blessing in disguise. And maybe we could have a great partnership with the residents and the developer, and there'll be other people who will enjoy the nature center.
Yeah, I hope so. Yes.
We only have about less than a minute. What do you have any one or two major goals for 2022?
So in 2022, we will be looking at all of our programs and having that actionable piece to it. So providing the solutions that will teach at every level, and then opening our programs to more audiences and different age groups, as well as creating a more robust volunteer program. And so we're really looking to the community to help us with that volunteer program. And like I said, we have the volunteer orientations the last Tuesday of the month. Every month, we have one coming up in January on the 25th from 6 to 7 p.m. So please come and learn about all the different volunteer opportunities there are. If you're looking to do something now that you think will make a difference, volunteer. It's a great way to get connected. We have everything from docents to leading nature hikes to doing story time, helping us with the animals. There's just so much that we can do. We are a small team. We are a pretty mighty team, but we always need some extra help. So that would be really wonderful.
Great. So thank you so much for joining us. My guest has been Alix Dunn, who's Executive Director of the Greenburgh Nature Center. And check out greenburghnaturecenter.org for more information. It really is a great place if you've never been there, and if you're going to be staying home this holiday season. This is a way to vacation off Central Avenue, and you could save the plane fare. Good. So I'm Paul Feiner, Greenburgh Town Supervisor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Great.